How do you introduce exercise for beginners? Impressions matter a lot, especially when trying to introduce exercise to your life. If you want to exercise, you know that only doing it once will not do anything. You need to be consistent, and this means that you have an impression about consistency. If you want results, you must exercise for a long time. One of the biggest struggles for people is to simply show up when they need to. As a result, it is common sense to have consistency at a pedestal when introducing it to beginners. But I think that focusing on consistency alone is a trap that many beginners will fall into. In my perspective, focusing on consistency itself is not what beginners should do, because it ignores what actually will make you show up: effort and results. When introducing exercise to beginners, there are two approaches with differences in priorities. The first approach is one that is strictly focused on consistency, focusing on building the habit of exercise. It is easier to build habits if there is no discomfort in them, when doing them doesn't bring any negative emotion. The feeling of being overwhelmed, scared, or tired can easily prevent you from trying to exercise again. In this case, trying to simplify your training with 1 or 2 exercises per session, 3 or 4 days per week, with 8 sets per session, seems like a great idea, not only to slowly learn exercises, but also to make it simple and straightforward. It will be moderate frequency, low volume, low amount of exercises. And to put the cherry on top, we can advise to not really train hard in the first month, just to develop the habit of showing up, and to slowly increase the effort as showing up becomes easier. In terms of rate of perceived exertion, maybe a 5 or 6 at the start. One benefit of this will be to heavily decrease the pain everybody goes through in their first few workouts, which is a really bad impression for beginners because they may think that working out will always result in such decrease of pain the day after. A low volume, low amount of exercises, and load can be progressively increased over time as the person becomes more used to working out. This will be great especially with elderly people, really young kids, or incredibly busy people, especially those with a low pain or discomfort tolerance. This in theory sounds really good to finally be consistent. The whole training structure is intended to condition yourself to working out, but it misses something important. It doesn't give you a reason to keep going. The problem of beginners putting consistency as their number one priority, like the approach I just mentioned, is that delaying effort will inevitably also delay results, and delaying results will make you keep up. There is nothing wrong with the approach of progressive effort because it will work if there is a personal trainer that could actually help you learn everything faster and make you accountable. But most people don't have a personal trainer or somebody to make them accountable. If you advise a beginner to not train hard in the beginning for the sake of consistency, he will do it, but worse. For example, if you say to a beginner that he must train at a rate of perceived exertion of 8, it will probably be between 5 to 6, simply because they don't know their limits or how hard they can truly train. And this matters a lot because it is not effort itself that will help you. It is the positive feedback loop from seeing results from your high effort that will hook you into enjoying working out and being consistent. A positive feedback loop is a loop that reinforces itself. You put in more effort, you get more results, you enjoy your training, and therefore you are more consistent, and the loop fits itself. What really will make you consistent is effort and the rewards of seeing your hard work pay off, not the mindset that your training should be tailored to you. The second approach is the way I think most beginners should be introduced to exercise. They should train as hard as they possibly can without giving them the freedom to choose. They shouldn't change the sets they should do, or the frequency, or the effort, or the exercises. They simply should work out with high effort, see the fruits of their hard work, and that way they will get hooked to working out. When I say effort, it simply means to struggle in your set, whether you are struggling because your nervous system is not used to the exercise, or because your rest times are short, or because you are reaching muscular failure and you cannot do another rep, or because the load is heavy, to push past that with effort. I'm not saying that every workout needs to always be a struggle and suffering, or that every workout session must be a battle. But if you truly put in a great amount of effort when you begin introducing exercise into your life, you will see very fast results within a few months. When you see changes in your body or strength, that is a great feeling. Something changes within you. That is when consistency is guaranteed. I think a better perspective to be consistent is not to worry about the specifics of their training or being consistent, but rather just thinking about training with high effort. Simplicity can help you a lot to put effort by simply not thinking and just doing. But at some point you will overwhelm yourself because starting to exercise is new to you, and new things are overwhelming because you don't know anything about them. And in this sense, there is no way to actually never feel overwhelmed when starting to work out. You must push through. If you feel overwhelmed, that is actually great because it means that you are facing new things, growing and improving.